Chariots for Hope exists to honor God by loving, nurturing, and providing for vulnerable and orphan children in Kenya. Our hope is not just to provide for these children until they get to be adults. Our hope is that we will provide an opportunity to these children to get to know God, Jesus Christ, in a very personal way, that their life can be totally transformed. Across our homes, we have nearly 800 children, and so we believe that with these 800 children serving the Lord can make a significant difference in their own communities, but also in the whole of Kenya.
Right now we have 44 children, and the oldest are those ones in nursery school, and the youngest is almost a month old. So we prepare them even in a spiritual way by singing small choruses and giving them memory verses.
The older children who are here, we normally show them what we are doing in the farm. We like the children to see what the staff are doing. They are small, but we want them to learn.
We seek to provide an environment that would be like you would provide in your own homes, except that we're going to have a lot more kids. I don't have any words to describe how important it is to these children to know that there's someone that cares about them, that will write them letters, that will say that they love them and is praying for them. If they get a picture from their sponsoring family, they will run around to their friends and say, "Look, this is my family." And they mean it. It is very extraordinarily meaningful to them. We seek to provide these children with the opportunity and hope they need so that they will develop into exemplary citizens, leaders, and followers of Jesus Christ. If the Lord's touching your heart to provide for a child in Kenya, listen to His call, because you'll make a big difference.
The first clip you saw was of Integrity Foundation, a small charity based in Augusta, Georgia, that I have been working with my senior year and for my senior project. Integrity Foundation is 100% nonprofit, but as you saw by the alarming details right after the video, not all charities are like this. A lot are corrupt, and that is what this project is about, to show you what corruption really lies. The Tampa Bay Times wrote an article about the corruption of these huge charities and foundations. The statistics are breathtaking. After seeing how charities such as Kids Wish Network only give 2.5% to the actual cause that the charity is for, after hearing these news, I talked to my peers. They had no idea that there was so much corruption in the charity world. I decided to take a further look into the minds of the youth and see what they know about charities and some shocking statistics. I interviewed a group of teenagers at a local library. These are their interviews now.
What's your name and how old are you?
I'm Connor and I'm 18.
Listen, and I am 17 years old.
Jacob Middleton and I'm 18.
My name is Vincent and I am 18 years old.
Do you donate or volunteer to any charities?
I donate from time to time.
Do you know which charities?
Just usually it's like if I'm in a store or something and they ask me, hey, would you like to donate $1 to this cause? I'll usually donate. It doesn't really matter what charity it is.
Donated blood and volunteered at the Special Olympics.
I donate blood every year, so that's all I do.
Donated blood, yes, and I used to volunteer at Ronald McDonald Charity House.
Do you know Kids Wish Network?
No, I don't.
They're a network that helps out kids in need. They make $138 million a year. only 2.5% actually go to kids in need.
That's absolutely terrible. So stupid.
2.5% actually goes to the cause. How do you feel about that?
I think that's messed up.
But did you know only 2.5% actually went to the cause?
What?
You know the National Veteran Service Fund?
No, I don't actually.
The National Veteran Service Fund helps out veterans in need across the country. They make $70 million a year, and only 7.8% actually goes to veterans.
Where's all the money?
It's fun.
Yeah, because both of my parents are veterans.
Well, did you know they only give 7.8% of it actually to the cause?
That's screwed up.
Have you ever heard of the Cancer Fund of America?
I have.
Did you know they make $87 million a year? But only 1% of it actually goes to the cause for cancer.
Not.
Only 1% actually went to the cause to fight cancer.
Why?
After hearing how terrible some of these charities can be and how big they are, how do you feel about that?
I feel the same because I never believed that the money was going where they said it was going.
Just do. What do you feel?
I think it's terrible. And I think the money should go where it's needed to be, such as like cancer and kids. It's not fair.
Information about the charities in America and how corrupt some charities can be. What are you going to do after this? After you know all of these problems are actually occurring just behind closed doors?
Well, I can tell you, I'm probably going to donate a lot less to charities, as much as it hurts to say it. But if the money's not even going to go to the people they're raising it for, then what's the point?
After hearing their responses, I did have to remind them of the good news and what my senior project is about.
$384 billion has been raised by America alone for charities. Half of that can make such a big difference if it was actually donated to something different than all these big charities you're hearing about. Small charities is the way into the future. My senior project was based off of this. I believe that small charities can actually make a bigger impact than big charities. After hearing how awful these big charities are, I can tell you some great things about small charities. They're personally motivated because most of them are community-based, a lot easier to volunteer to, and actually can make such a bigger impact with your dollar because most of them are non-profit and also give the money straight to the cause because they are usually founded because of a personal thing. After hearing about this, do you think small charities could be the way into the future?
I think they should be, because all the money should be going to where it's supposed to be needed. That's what I think. I think it's great.
After knowing some of the information about small charities, do you feel like small charities could be the way?
Definitely.
Probably donate to them more. If I know at least then it'll make a difference, and at least then my money's not going to be lining some rich person's pockets, then yeah, that seems like the reasonable decision.
After interviewing all of these teenagers, I decided to go back to Integrity Foundation to then talk to Drew, the charity organization manager over there, who could give me more detail on how it is to be a small charity and how it is to make a big impact onto your community.
I'm Drew Hall. I am the marketing director and the day-to-day operations person for the Integrity Foundation, a local nonprofit here in Augusta, Georgia that supports an orphanage over in Kenya. So we are a nonprofit that exists to bridge individuals and businesses with our orphanage in Kenya in order to meet their most basic needs, such as healthcare, education, room and board, food, different things like that. My bosses went on a trip over to Kenya, and when they were in Kenya, they learned about how international adoption is illegal in Kenya. So Kenya has some of the highest numbers of orphans in the world. And so most of them are street children. The government doesn't necessarily funnel the funds and the aid that they receive from other governments to where they need to go. And so because of that, there's a large number of orphans in Kenya with no place to go. And so the guys I worked for decided that they wanted to partner with some existing corporations that were struggling over there and help them to be able to meet the needs of these kids over there. So we've partnered with organizations like Charities for Hope and Cure International, and we pay the full budget of these orphanages. And at our current home, we have about 60 or 70 kids from 0 to 6 years old. So I was working at a church, and Brian Byler, who is my boss and the founder of Integrity Foundation, hired me to come in and help run the day-to-day. They didn't have anyone really running day-to-day or really trying to spread the word about the foundation. They were paying for it out of their own pockets. And when they realized that that wasn't sustainable or beneficial to the kids, them having to fund everything, they decided to bring someone in and start doing the day-to-day operations. Yeah, so most of our kids come from slums in Kenya. A lot of them come from the Matare slum. So in Matare, it's over 500,000 people in less than 3 square miles. And so 3 out of every 4 people in Matare are HIV positive, very low life expectancy. And so a lot of these kids don't have parents, don't have a mom and dad to go home to. They become street children, they beg for money. And so because of that, we have a lot of kids that are brought to our home. We've had kids in the past 2 weeks that have been brought to our home who they found 2 twin girls on a pile of trash in the local market, and they take them to the police station, and the police bring them to us because they don't know where else to take them. So a lot of those kids get funneled to us, and in our program we try to prepare them for when they get out of the home. We have 3 different sections of the home up until they're 18 years old, and we really try to prepare them for a craft that they'll use outside of that. And Integrity Foundation as a whole, the way that we're able to do that so well is because we run off 0 administrative cost. And so I'm actually employed by other businesses that my bosses own, even though the majority of my work is done with Integrity Foundation. We're able to give 100%. If you give us $100 to go towards our kids at our home right now, $100 is going to go towards the kids in our home right now. Now, that's not saying that other nonprofits are bad, but if you look at some of the other bigger nonprofits, the more well-known names, if you give $100, in some cases, only $15 to $20 of that might end up going towards the actual cause. A lot of it's used to cover salaries of employees at the nonprofit, marketing that the nonprofit does. We're in a unique situation because we're able to give everything that we bring in to the nonprofit. So when we tell you, if you give, your money will go here, it's actually 100% going to that cause. Because we're small enough to where I can pretty much run it on my own, but we're big enough to where we can have an impact on the lives of hundreds of kids in Africa. We have 17 homes total that we work with, over 1,000 kids. And because each one of these homes is partnered with a smaller nonprofit that gives 100%, we're able to kind of come together and do more, I think, than maybe a larger one would be handcuffed in doing, because their funds may go different places, or they may have to get approval from different people in the higher ups. We're able to make those decisions immediately, able to hire the people over there that we want to hire, able to make the hard decisions that we want to make immediately. And we're able to do all those things. And so I think being smaller does help us in that, because we're able to be more productive. Yeah, the way we support our kids is through monthly sponsorships at $45 a month. So as I said earlier, we have some kids who come in off the streets, they find them abandoned. Some kids are actually dropped off by their parents who just don't want to take care of them or can't take care of them anymore. And so that $45 a month covers everything from food. Public school is not free in Kenya, so you have to actually pay for it. So it pays for their food, their schooling, their uniforms, clothes, where we actually house them, their room and board, and then also medical bills, which are always an unexpected cost in some situations, especially with some of these kids being HIV positive and going through all those struggles. That 45 covers a whole spectrum. And so since we exist to connect individuals and businesses, we also have crib sponsorships where businesses partner with us and pay $100 a month. And those go towards just our in general fund for medical bills, for our mortgage that we have on our property over there, different things like that may come up. They can go to integrityfoundation.org and see all of our information on there, how our money is divided up in the home. So if you give money, what parts of the home it will actually go to. And you can check everything out there.
After interviewing Drew and the teenagers, I have really come to an understanding about how charity can work, and how charity really is a good thing for the world. And it just saddens me to see all those statistics about big charities really ruining the name of what charity is about. As you can see, those teenagers didn't even trust some charities, and they weren't even that surprised for some of them because of how corrupt some of these charities have been. And that's just such a sad, sad thing. And that is what my senior project is about. It's supposed to bring back the word charity, bring back what charity means to the world. I believe that small charities are the way into the future. Do you?